denying he paid Natasha from the SABC money in exchange for Musa Kaula's number. WhatsApp chats before the commission show Nkosi sent Natasha 500 rand as a quote, token of appreciation. However, Nkosi says the money was not for Kaula's number.
I did not pay Natasha for information. I just gave her money because I know her.
Nkosi returns to the witness stand tomorrow. Thabiso Kuba, Eyewitness News.
And lastly, in Greece, the long-awaited trial into the country's worst train tragedy has been adjourned until April 1st. In 2023, 57 people were left dead after a passenger train traveling from Thessaloniki collided with a freight train. 36 people face felony charges of dangerous interference with rail transport. The presiding judge in the trial adjourned the matter owing to conditions that could cause fainting due to how packed the court was today. A cloudy Tuesday with scattered afternoon showers and thunder showers in Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to an overnight low of 17, peaking at 22, Pretoria 19 and 24, and Vereeniging 17 and 23 degrees. Noluthando Ngeno, Eyewitness News.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Comfort ends where Marawa Sports Worldwide begins.
Yeah, take that video, it will go viral.
It's sobonana ngomsombuluko. Angithi ngichaze story. Ngithe Monday.
If it's shaking sport, we are already on it.
Mufokeng! 30 seconds! Now Mufokeng hunting that hat-trick. They're finding it! First treble in the career of Liverpool Mufokeng.
Hashtag MSW.
It's very painful for Senegal to lose that cup. So there is a rule. If you leave the pitch, it's forfeit. Done, finished. The only thing is why you don't do it earlier, why you wait 2 months. When you select a player with 2 yellow cards, that directly after the game you have to complain. It didn't happen. And 6 months later, they decide to deduct 3 points. You have to be consistent in what you decide. You don't even to wait for a complaint of Morocco. Well, no, here, look, that's the rule. Out. Morocco has the cup.
This is where sport breaks, bends, and gets told straight.
No, Robert. No.
And one of the game's giants has carved another niche in history. For the 5th time, Pep Guardiola wins this trophy more than anybody else. And he takes as much pleasure in this prize as any other. The final score in the 2026 Carabao Cup final, Arsenal 0, Manchester City 2.
Uthulani Hlajwayo is here as well. He's wearing the jersey. Are you retired, like officially?
Officially, bro.
100%.
100%.
How are you dealing with that?
You'll always miss the game. You'll always miss everything something that you've done for the rest of your life. And with the role that I'm in now, it's keeping me busy as much as years as I've retired, but I'm not totally lost from the game. I'm still in the game, but it's the different role, behind the fence.
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
Oh, by the way, what day is it?
Not your ordinary Monday. It's Reaction Monday. Hashtag MSW.
Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
The thrill, the drama, the action.
Play the game again.
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.
Yeah, Robert, hope you're well, man. Listen, man, something that's just been bothering me of late since moving up to Joburg. Initially, we didn't used to attend matches at Ellis Park because, the locals, that grew up in Joburg would always say it's such an unsafe area and they don't go and watch and this and the other. Up until we made the decision to start watching matches there regularly, which is really only from this year. And we we initially used the park and ride, which was a little bit expensive because it's $250 a ticket just to take a bus to Ellis Park and back. So if you're going with a family, that's $1,000. So we, after that, decided to drive in and out ourselves to the stadium. And honestly, really, really not bad. No issues at all that we've ever experienced. The stadium is well managed. Like I said, the tickets are cheap. The Lions are playing well. I just don't understand why people from Johannesburg, and there's hundreds of thousands of rugby supporters in and out around Joburg, but no one goes and watches the matches on a weekend. It was so sad on Saturday. We went there to support the Lions, even though they're really not our team. We support the Stormers, but I mean, they're playing against Edinburgh, so we go and enjoy the rugby, support the Lions for the day. Joburg people to go and attend the matches at the stadium. I don't know, you guys have a perfect platform. Is this not a thing that should be addressed?
What a way to start the show. What a question, but a very, very valid one. Thank you so much for that, because one's been raising the issue of poor attendance at the Ellis Park Stadium, and it's for many reasons, and I think you've outlined a few of them. Safety, access, many. It's not about the performance of the team. I mean, you watch the Lions go and play, Hollywood Bets Sharks at the Hollywood Bets Kings Park Stadium, and you get to see how they play. You go and watch them play at Loftus against the Bulls, and you get to see how brilliant a team they are. But at home, they have such poor attendance for multiple reasons. And I think a lot of Joburgers that are listening to the show right now, Gautengers, if you want to extend it to that, if you want to maybe add on and give us reasons why you find it so difficult to do that. And I'll say it on the back of having watched very closely over the weekend. And it was such an important day as well for Makazole Mapimpi, getting his century of caps. And they hammered Munster. It was a complete thrashing, but also very humbling, when you get to score 2 tries in your 100th cap and you get to beat Munster, 45-0 was the final score. The attendance there, just the family situation that they've created at Kings Park. Maybe we can even talk into that, where there's that kids play area. They can go swimming, and on the other side, people are braaiing. There's all sorts of activities there. And they've created an environment that even if you're not going to be fully attentive to the rugby, the family situation kicks in, but you're still part of the vibe that is there. So is that a missing element at Ellis Park? Obviously rugby is the main thing that you're going to watch. But I fully agree. I've struggled to go, especially if the Springboks are going to be playing against the All Blacks, for example, as it's happened, in the past. Trying to get down the usual route, down Joe Slover Drive, through Yeovil, past Hillbrow, and just trying to access Ellis Park was difficult. So what Waze did was send one through all the way as if I'm going to Durban, and then use Resick Street off-ramp. So, I don't know, the back end of town, it was long and it was a winding way to get through. It also took me into, the parts of Joburg I hadn't been in many, many years, but also everything else that makes it so difficult to access the stadium. So what are the solutions? I mean, he mentioned the park and ride, which costs, $250 a ticket, but might be a better option to do that. But I think, as I say, on the Monday, on Reaction Monday, this is your show. So you get to put whatever the agenda is right there in front of us. But I thought, what a great way to start, because it poses a very important question. We all love rugby, and Ellis Park has been the cauldron for so many years. It's been so difficult for so many clubs to come to Ellis Park, whether it's clubs or national teams to come and play there. But it's poor, man. All you see, especially when you're watching it on television, are just thousands and thousands of empty seats. It's all red. And you're saying, but why? What has gone wrong? Maybe you might provide the answer. As I said, it is a Monday. It is Reaction Monday. You can send us your WhatsApp voice notes on 060-708-0484, 011-8838-947 if you want to call us directly. But my goodness, Stain City, Live Golf, what on earth just happened? Now, if you want to talk about attendance and positive attendance, consistent attendance, no matter what the rain was trying to do to spoil the event, it was not spoiled at all. Through rain, through sunshine, through it all, those visuals that went viral right across the world, all the golfers talking about it being the best golfing experience of their lives. Guys, I don't know. Maybe you were there. Maybe you want to relive that moment. You want to relive those days or day that you were there. What is that like? And for you, and once again, I'll come back to it and I'll talk about the fact that they've got Live Golf back again next year, which, hey, we've got to applaud. But also got to, give a big round of applause for Bryson DeChambeau winning back-to-back Live Golf titles, via playoffs when he made a birdie on the first extra hole to beat the Spaniard John Rahm in South Africa's tournament at Steyn City. And as I talk about that, I'd really, really love to hear from all of those who attended the Live Golf. I'm not talking about those who are fighting, you're just talking about those who are fighting to get in.
Well, Bryson faced one of the greatest players on the planet. He took on an entire nation on home soil, and this remarkable golfer has beaten everyone. The emotion of the moment is clear. Bryson goes back to back with playoff wins in Singapore and now South Africa. It's a famous double, with his Crushers taking the team title as well.
Make sure you head straight over to the podium for our podium ceremony. You're not going to want to miss it.
A compelling championship Sunday, once again.
I know you got through a lot. Thank you. I'm here for you, all right? I will always be here for you, all right? I got some packing. Love you.
What an unbelievable day. Thank you so much, South Africa. We'll see you on the stage. Long live golf.
Yeah, see you next time. Those are the words there from the PA announcer. Now, I'll get you Bryson's response to winning, but let me quickly go to Ernest calling us from Kloof-Vendal. Ernest, good evening. You want to talk about Ellis Park?
Good evening, Robert. Yes, I think it's not the way the Lions play. It's not their performance. I'm a Sharks supporter, and I used to go to watch every Sharks game there, but not anymore. The dangers, you just don't feel safe, and that's the problem.
Tell me about the lack of safety in your personal experience.
Well, you got to park somewhere and you walk and you just feel, you just don't feel comfortable there. It's a dingy, not in a good area.
But did you personally experience, something that might have happened either to you, pickpocketed,
a friend of mine got pickpocketed.
Going for cell phones, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's something like that. But it's really, you just don't feel safe. But if you go and look at the Sharks playing the Lions at Hollywood Bet Stadium, you'll see there's a lot of Lions supporters there.
Absolutely. I was at Loftus the last time. I don't know if you remember the day they had to stop the game because of the storm and everything else. That was one of the better or the best performances I've seen the Lions put out. But they are a consistently good team, and I agree with you. So all I am imagining is that what is the solution, though? Because, the Lions can't be exposed to empty seats all the time.
No, Robert, I think the stadium has got, amongst international players, it's got a hell of a name for atmosphere.
Oh, it's the best.
But you can't go, you just don't feel comfortable. You come out after a game, a night game specifically, and you're unsure of, are you going to get to your car or, and it's not just me. I know a lot of people who don't go there anymore because of the situation where it's sit.
Yeah, obviously, as 947, we also in partnership with the Lions and with the cricket team as well. Maybe it's something that we need to bring the management into the studio and we openly talk about this, because it doesn't sit well with me to see such great professionals and others that do represent the Springboks being exposed to literally empty seats.
But Robert, it's not just the Lions supporters that don't go; it's the other team supporters don't go there.
Which makes it worse, though, because you neither have a home base nor you have the traveling base.
you know, when was it? 1996 or something, when the Sharks won at the Ellis Park. It was full of Shark supporters. It was full of Lion supporters. You don't see those Shark supporters there anymore.
Yeah, even the time when Elton Jantjes held his own and they won, the Currie Cup at Ellis Park. That was still buzzing. That was still packed.
Yeah, it's the area you go into.
Yeah. Ernst, thank you so much, man. Hopefully we find solutions because we need to win back. I think a lot of areas, like it happened with Bromfontein, how they managed on multiple fronts, whether it was from a restauranting perspective to win back the people, to say win back the city, because you can't be pushed back because of thugs and thuggery and people that do all of those crazy things. At the end of the day, we've got to win the city back.
Absolutely, I fully agree with you. And if it became so that we could go and watch again, I'd go and watch a Sharks players. I'm an avid Sharks supporter.
You and I.
To the point, I've even got Henry Hannibal's centenary jersey played for Natal.
That's crazy business, man. So how do you feel about the result from the weekend while I got you on?
Oh, brilliant. They were brilliant. Makazole and Pimpi was unbelievable.
I mean, how's that for...
in 2 minutes.
I mean, how was that for brute force, though, hey?
Oh, that was unbelievable. It really was. 45-0.
Oh, man, that 35-year-old.
It must be soul-destroying. You come there in a rugby team and you don't even score a point. It must be soul-destroying. And you're a professional team.
I know. I mean, it's especially Munster. You're not talking about any push-away team here.
No, you're talking about a good side. But they were just a different class. As for that new youngster, number 15, was unbelievable.
You know what they have, and that was part of what the Sharks have been brewing for a while, is the academy. So you find a lot of the schools, the high schools, and how they release a lot of their players who become part of the Sharks academy at such a young age. Even those that are coming in at entry level, they already belong to the Sharks. And that says a lot about the long-term vision.
Absolutely, but that little guy's first game, and he's not a big boy either, but he was phenomenal.
I loved it. And hope to hear from you soon again.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Appreciate it, man. All right, as I said, guys, would love to hear first-hand experience, but we will do our level best to get hold of the Sharks, the Lions management. And we have an open discussion, though, because, again, like I say, we can't give in to what is happening there. We've got to try and win it back. So, golf fans, Bryson DeChambeau, what a champ.
Just a lot of emotion, numerous things, stuff I can't talk about, stuff I'm not going to talk about, and then stuff that I can talk about, which is, obviously my dad. And it's been a few years now, and I think it's time for people to see, that I'm not just a scientific robot guy. I care a lot. I have a lot of passion. I care about the game. I care about people watching. I care about entertaining. I care about my team. I care about pretty much everything in life. And, when you have moments in life that aren't easy, it's really nice to have had a father that can give you that perseverance and that wisdom to say, don't quit, don't ever quit. You just got to keep going. And it was true. I mean, there was another moment on 16 that happened with a fan out there that did something to me that made me literally cry as I was walking up to the 16th tee. And that's when the storm got really heavy, and it just gave me that perseverance and that gratitude to just go, you know what, no matter what happens, I'm gonna be okay. There's more to life than just golf. And it honestly relaxed me a lot in that moment, because it was getting difficult, it was getting tough, and it was brutal, and that emotion was a lot of built up, pent up. I wish I could tell you guys, but you can't. There's just a lot going on. There's a lot going on, and I love everybody for it, and I love my team for it, and I love all the people back at home, and it's just been tough, and life's not easy sometimes, and losing my dad wasn't easy. Going through what I'm going through is not easy, but everybody has it, and that's why I've got such a great team here to give me a lot.
Golf is easy for him, though. That's what's easy.
No, it's not.
Oh, man, what an emotional time for Bryson Deschambault, revealing the emotions stem from, memories of his late father and the perseverance that instilled in him, as well as a touching moment, though, with the fan during the Storm-hit final round. So I think it was a great success all round. Like I said, if you're at the golf, please do share. I see a lot of other voice notes that are coming through talking about Ellis Park. So a plan has to be made, guys, because if you remember when we had the conversations with the room dividers and we were talking about rugby's greatest rivalry tour of 2026, I mean, that's coming up. That's going to be starting on the 7th of August at the DHL Stadium in Cape Town. So all I'm saying is that there are 2 dates that are put down for Ellis Park. South Africa play against New Zealand on the 22nd of August at Ellis Park. The Lions will play against New Zealand on the 25th of August at Ellis Park. So, the magnitude of those games already start to say, what plan do we need to put into place? And trust me, we all want to be at those games. We all want to be, front and center to witness this rare tour that's going to be happening. So, solutions.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
This is the mayor of Kentucky Town. We back. Certified rule shakers, we up. Hot cross buns, they come in hot in the hotter cross bun burger. Easter eggs, they're coming out the shell in the speckled egg crusher. And with the finger-licking lineup of the gravy baby burger, passion pop boba crusher, and the Doritos chacho, it's time for the rules to sit down and let you do you. Eat the rules with Kentucky Town. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Bye.
When you train for results, you don't quit halfway. Earn up to 7.35% interest with a Nedbank Just Invest account. Access your money within 24 hours. Keep your money agile. Get money fit with Nedbank. See money differently. Nedbank. For more information, visit nedbank.co.za. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
At Lotto Star, we're proud to be the first in SA to offer a dedicated responsible betting program. Need to check in with yourself? Take our self-assessment quiz. Need a break? Choose a cooling off period or our easy self-exclusion option. For help and support, our independent counselors are here 24/7. Lotto Star, your world of live games. Lotto Star is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18. NRGP 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
I only went for gift wrap. That's all I needed, I swear. Just tape and birthday wrapping for a little teddy bear. Now there's a pink flamingo perched right by the door. And somehow 5 new books to read thanks to the crazy store. That's crazy, crazy, that's the crazy store. Went in for one small thing, came out with so much more.
The crazy store. Hey, you never know what you might find.
From your pet's bowl
to Belito Brew
or Barcelona, maybe Bordeaux.
How about Brazil?
Or Butts, Betty's, Baviance, Bella Bella, or even Benoni. Buy any Hills pet food and you could win one of 10 holidays worth 200,000 Rand each. Or take the bucks. Scientifically proven formulas for your pet. An adventure for you. Hills Pet Nutrition. Science does more. T's and C's apply.
Some moments are personal. Some spaces are professional. All of them deserve care. At Frond and Filigree, we create handcrafted floral experiences for life's meaningful moments and the places where they happen. From birthdays and anniversaries to hotels, offices and events, our bespoke arrangements are designed with artistry and intention. Because when flowers are done right, they elevate every moment. Visit frondandfiligree.co.za.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala. Goal! Bafana!
Bob Mapasa, good to see you, man. Welcome back to the show. Take us through the design, the reasons, the balance between the heritage as well as the innovation that has been put into this jersey.
there is a lot of people that are not sure which one to kind of obviously go with. We have said true, obviously, the last time we were in this partnership was 2010, 15 years ago. So it's been a long time that we kind of obviously left the SAFA space. But however, from an inspiration point of view, we have still taken it from the 2010 jersey, which was another successful jersey in the partnership.
Yes.
So for home, we've said true around that. The neckline area had 11 stripes, which obviously symbolize 11 languages. And within the changes and the new era where we've got 12 South African languages, in the new one, there are now 12 lines. Obviously, these symbolizing voices that will be behind the team, obviously, where we are at.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW. Not your ordinary Monday. It's Reaction Monday. Hashtag MSW.
All right, some responses and reaction coming through about Live Golf.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Marawa. For me, the biggest moment of the weekend was the Live Golf tournament. I'm not a golf person, but it had a nice vibe about it, and it looked like a fantastic tournament, man. I didn't watch all of it, but it looked nice. Going to Ellis Park. Ellis Park is just not easy to access. It's not safe around it. I've stayed in Dorfontein. I've stayed in Hatfield. And it's so easy to access Loftus as opposed to Ellis Park. And Ellis Park is not clean. It's only clean on the inside, but around it, the surroundings, it's not safe, it's not clean. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are not going through to the stadium. And let's be honest, most of the time it's watched by white people, and we know white people's perceptions when it comes to Johannesburg. Thank you.
All right, I'm not sure about, the end regarding that. I think we all go watch rugby. Yes, there'll be scuffles at times. Half the time it's because alcohol's come into the blood system and people go crazy. But I think, to be fair, we've gone a long way. You'll find racist field fights, even at petrol stations. It doesn't mean it's rugby related. We can attest to that on many, many fronts. But the access is a problem. I mean, I remember one spent many years living in Yeovil, and one could walk down to either the Joburg Stadium, which obviously used to have active football played over there at a professional level. The good days of the happy people of Orlando Pirates with Papich were spent there at the Joburg Stadium, and you could walk as well down to Ellis Park Stadium. So on many fronts, it's just a case of having to identify the problems and how to deal with those problems, because we want that access all over again.
Hey, Dumela Ntate Marawa. My reaction Monday, Orlando Pirates did well, 6-0, and the issue of Lions. I support Lions, but then my salary doesn't support me to go to the stadiums. But then I love watching the matches, and I love my team, and I'm happy of what we did in the weekend. But it's just my salary doesn't support it, and the mouth I feed.
I hear you. It's a story of rugby tickets and access. Maybe that's also part of the discussion that we will have, to say that if at a certain way, what would you rather have? A half-full stadium rather than an empty stadium? If you just loosened the pricing thereof. But I understand the internationals. There's nothing you can do there. Those tickets cost ridiculous prices, but there's a demand, and that's why people still go. Otherwise, if there wasn't a demand, then nobody would go. Louis calling us from the Vault. Good evening.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. You want to chat Sundowns?
No, yeah, Sundowns. But now my biggest worry is that some teams seems to be donating goals to Pirates, man, to make it easy for them to win, because like TS Galaxy were not even bothered that they're conceding a lot of goals, 6 goals in a match. It smells of corruption or match fixing, actually.
Donating goals? How do you give that as a reason if you've been beaten 6-0?
No, but that was too much, man. That was too much.
But so what is too much? Clubs are being beaten 8-2, Champions League level, first and second leg. The very same Pirates have had hidings of a similar score before. Nobody said anything.
Yeah, but this one is worrisome, man. It's worrisome. Maybe they just want to give Pirates the PSL, but Sundowns will triumph, you see.
wouldn't you say that's just banter? Like what you would say, Louis, when you're sitting and chatting with your friends and you're joking about it. It's not something that you would bring onto a radio station and put a serious allegation unless you have proof.
Yeah, it's not a proof. It's not. I don't have proof, but actually, I am not happy about it, man, because some teams are getting it very, very easy. 6 goals is too much, especially toward the end of the season.
So okay, so that is you personally feeling that way. It's not illegal to score 6 goals in the same way that it's not illegal to score 8 goals.
Yeah, it's up for debate actually.
What's the debate?
The debate is that we are not happy about it.
It's a result. So even if it was 1-0, it would still be 3 points gone.
But now it's giving Pirates more advantage, because right now for us to win the league, we need something like 5 goals now, especially to catch up with them.
So you
go, the same goal difference.
So you must go and get them, Louis. So you must go do to your next opponents what Pirates did to TS Galaxy. The equation is very simple.
Okay, no, thanks so much, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. All right. I don't know. The thing is, when you bring allegations, man, it's nice to chat about these things when you're sitting under a tree and we're having a nice time and whether it's at a restaurant or nje, blomming, as we would say. But when you bring allegations of that nature onto a radio station, let's be responsible. Let's be unhappy. Yes, the passion is there for your team to do well. I think in the same way that we saw last night under the iconic lights of Wembley Stadium, for example. I mean, football reminded us exactly why we love it. The passion, the pressure, pure, unfiltered emotion. And that's because when the final whistle blew, it wasn't just a victory for Manchester City. It was a statement. It was a declaration that greatness doesn't fade. It evolves. And at the heart of it all, the ever-intense, ever-relentless genius called Pep Guardiola was at the heart and center of it. I mean, you look at a man who has won it all, yet still runs the touchline like it's his very first trophy. I mean, his fists were pumping, the heart was racing, a wild celebration that told the world that, hey, the fire still burns, guys. I mean, it was a record 5th Carabao Cup crown. His 16th major trophy with City. Imagine, a 2-0 triumph over a fearless Arsenal side led by Mikel Arteta. I mean, a team that many believe is almost unstoppable. But last night, they were stopped by hunger, Louis, by belief, by a City side that refuses to let go of greatness. I mean, what does this victory actually mean? I mean, is Guardiola building yet another chapter in a dynasty that refuses to end? What does this defeat mean for Arteta? Still chasing that elusive next trophy. So let's head off to the United Kingdom right now. Manchester City correspondent Ian Cheeseman is standing by to chat to us. Ian, thank you very, very much for your time. How do you describe that moment? A ruthless Man City again.
Well, you mentioned that Pep Guardiola is a genius. I attend all the press conferences that Pep Guardiola does, and he often belittles some of the journalists when they call him a genius, because they say, or he says to them, when we win, when we have a good result, you call me a genius. When we lose, like we did against Real Madrid, you question that. Nothing is perfect in football. But yesterday at Wembley, Pep Guardiola definitely got it right. I think what he did yesterday, which was a little bit different than Mikel Arteta was expecting, was to, instead of just do a constant high press, and Arteta assumed that that's what City would do, and therefore he could exploit the gap between the press and the defence, that bit in the midfield area. They sat back a little bit. They didn't do what people would call a low block or a defensive block. They had the defence in there, of course, and they had 2 excellent midfielders in Bernardo Silva and Rodri. But they left a little bit of an area, or closed that area, I should say, that didn't allow Arsenal to play. And they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to react to it. And it only happened really in the second half, and it worked perfectly. And City's will to win, Pep's insatiable drive for trophies and the way he can convey that to his players, won through the day. And I'm sure that Arsenal fans, the manager, the players will all be scratching their head today in the next few days, although they're going away on international duty, of course. And it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens when all the action returns in 2 weeks' time, as to whether that has psychologically damaged Arsenal.
Sure. Was it, I mean, let's get this out of the way because it becomes a question. It's not a question that Pep would have had to deal with, but the goalkeeping side from Arsenal, the Kepa issue.
Well, City do the same thing and have done the same thing for quite a while now. They have a main goalkeeper. At the moment, of course, it's Donnarumma, but last season it was Ederson. And they have a number 2. Last season it was Ortega. This season it's Trafford. And the promise that is made to the number 2 is that you will play in the domestic cup competitions, so the FA Cup and the League Cup, or the Carabao Cup as it's called. And I think other clubs do something similar. You saw Liverpool do it fairly recently. And, different, obviously Arsenal did it, and it's not uncommon. So they promise that their number 2 will play. It's a way of keeping their number 2 happy, because you need a good quality number 2. But how do you keep them happy if the number 1 plays every week? Because you're not going to keep rotating your goalkeeper generally. And so that's what they did. And Kepa has been a very, very good goalkeeper. Yesterday, he made a mistake. But that wasn't the only thing that cost Arsenal that game. That's the way it's been highlighted. If you watch the ball slipping through his fingers, the defender the other side of him was actually nearer to where the ball was dropping than the ultimate goal scorer, Nico O'Reilly. And so it was his presence and his stooping header that went round the defender that put it in, and it should have still been cleared away by the defender. So, yes, the goalkeeper made a mistake. Yes, he's the number 2. Yes, it's easy afterwards to say, why did the number 1 not play? But James Trafford was City's number 2. He played. He didn't make any mistakes. So therefore, nobody questions it. So it's an easy escape route, really, isn't it?
No, absolutely. I think it usually happens, when the fans, and you would have heard while you were holding on, one of the fans of the local teams not happy with the 6-0 drubbing and saying, something otherwise has happened on the football field. But from a tactical perspective, what did Pep get right that Arteta couldn't respond to? Because it just looked like the City of old.
Well, City have this willpower when they get it right. They've been a little bit inconsistent this season, so they've dropped points that they really shouldn't have done, like Nottingham Forest, for example. Tottenham, who we've seen in free fall at the moment in the Premier League, could go down. Won at the Etihad Stadium, and City drew with Tottenham at their stadium. So that's because City haven't been consistent. There've been a lot of changes. There have been key injuries, but then again, all teams get key injuries. And that they just have lost a little bit of the togetherness. But they proved yesterday that when the chips are down, and I fancied them to beat Arsenal yesterday, a lot of people didn't, because football is so much about psychology and about will to win. And having had that major disappointment against Real Madrid, and Bernardo Silva is currently the leader, captain of that team, and he'd made the mistake, if you like, that had led to his dismissal, which had ruled out any chance of City coming back. I didn't think they would do after the 3-0 first leg, but once he got sent off, it was over. So it felt like him and the players got together and said, listen, we owe it to ourselves. We lost to Crystal Palace last year in the FA Cup final at Wembley. We owe it to the fans who went to Madrid, the fans who came and supported us in the second leg, to be ourselves, to impose ourselves. And that little tactical tweak that I talked about a little earlier, about not over-pressing and then asking Arsenal to try to play through them, I think it was a significant part of the victory. So it was a culmination of lots of things.
Let's talk about the genius, At least Pep is not in front of us here, Ian, to tell us otherwise. But when you look at the record and you look at the celebration that we saw yesterday, it's a 5th Carabao Cup under Guardiola. Where does this rank among his achievements at City?
Well, let's be honest about it. The Carabao Cup is the least important of the 4 major trophies that City set off in. And earlier in the campaign, most teams, including City, don't even field their strongest teams. And it's not until it gets to the very latter stages, and in this season's case, silver final, that City fielded anything that resembled a first team. There are other priorities, the Champions League, the Premier League, survival in the Premier League. For the lower division teams like the Championship teams, there's an ever-expanding playoff setup. Next year, 2 more teams will be involved in the playoffs. So everybody's got something to play for, and the money and the prestige, if you like, is all about getting into the Premier League and about making sure that they solidify their place there. So the Carabao Cup, the League Cup, is right down the priority list. That's not to dismiss what City did, but this time they went for it a little bit more. Last season, City had no trophies at all, although Pep still calls the Community Shield a title. That's his expression. So he claims that they still won a title last season, but in reality, they didn't win anything last year. So this was an opportunity, because the Premier League seems to be slipping away, because the Champions League has slipped away, and because the FA Cup still isn't a certainty, with still a quarter-final to go against Liverpool and a possible re-meeting with Arsenal either in the semis or the final. This was the one to go for. So they went for it. They put some silverware on the table there, and in the trophy room, and that means that the pressure is slightly off them. But the pressure now is on Arsenal, because Arsenal, somebody pointed out to me only today that Leicester City have won the Premier League more recently than Arsenal. Leicester City have won the League Cup more recently than Arsenal. Leicester City have won the FA Cup more recently than Arsenal. And they're struggling and may even be relegated to League One this season. So Arsenal have got to get out there and start getting away from this bridesmaid sort of reputation they've got of always being the bridesmaid and never being the bride.
Yeah, very hard one for Arsenal, and we can only imagine if they don't go all the way and clinch the league title. As always, Ian Cheeseman, Manchester City correspondent, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. All the best, Robert.
Thanks, Ian. What a summary. And all I can say, guys, congratulations to Manchester City. When we come back from the break, the show is yours. My goodness, what a response. And especially to the Ellis Park situation. We'll try to play as many of the voice notes as possible.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Herschel Gibbs here, with more than just a crypto ad. Crypto payments are now live on 10Bet. And there's more. Download the app, deposit, and get an extra 5% in cash. The future of betting, faster, safer, and smoother. Play now at 10bet.co.za. 10Bet is a licensed betting operator and supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 shall be permitted to bet. Betting can be addictive. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Smart Steve from Momentum, hello.
Smart Steve, my daughter just turned 18, right? And now she's got a license and a boyfriend.
You're worried about her safety. With Momentum Safety Alert, she can access help 24/7.
Is that the emergency response version of Curry in a Hurry?
For sure. She can get help at the touch of a button for free.
Free? For all that and all?
Visit momentum.co.za or call 0860 006 784. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is an authorized non-life insurer. T's and C's apply.
Where do you go for medication, specialized wound dressings, a quality wheelchair, incontinence products, or a doctor after hours? The new Unicare 24-hour pharmacy in the Besonia Shopping Centre. With after-hour doctors, specialized clinics, comprehensive ranges of orthopedic and surgical products, Unicare means 24-hour one-stop healthcare. Visit Unicare 24/7 Trusted Health, your always open pharmacy at the Besonia Shopping Centre.
Our pets are family, and family deserves the very best. At Absolute Pets, find the best deals on quality, premium nutrition. Right now, get 20% off selected Hills dog food for small, medium, and large breed dogs. Keep your pets healthier and happier for longer with Hills Trusted Nutrition. Don't miss this exclusive offer of 20% off selected Hills dog food only at Absolute Pets. Offer ends 31 March and T's and C's apply. Absolute Pets. Happy and healthy.
So,
when are you lovebirds finally going to get married? Aibo! Your cousin Tandi just had a second baby, and I heard
You can't pause life, but you can take a holiday from payments. Get the Suzuki Jimny 5-door and Suzuki will cover up to your first 3 installments, so you can explore without limits this summer. Visit suzukiauto.co.za. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
Bob Mapasa, good to see you, man. Welcome back to the show. Take us through the design, the reasons, the balance between the heritage as well as the innovation that has been put into this jersey.
There is a lot of people that are not sure which one to kind of obviously go with. We have said true, obviously, the last time we were in this partnership was 2010, 15 years ago. So it's been a long time that we kind of obviously left this space. But however, from an inspiration point of view, we have still taken it from the 2010 jersey, which was another successful jersey in the partnership.
Yes.
So for home, we've said true around that. The neckline area had 11 stripes, which obviously symbolize 11 languages, and within the changes and the new era where we've got 12 South African languages, in the new one there are now 12 lines, obviously these symbolizing voices that will be behind the team, obviously where we are at.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW. Ordinary Monday. It's Reaction Monday. Hashtag MSW.
All right, more reaction coming through about Ellis Park.
Robert, let me tell you the truth about Ellis Park, Johannesburg, Ellis Park. That side, that place is rough. It's crazy, scary. Crime is bad. That place is rough, You ask all the officers, they'll tell you that around Ellis Park. So people, not that they don't want to attend, they do want to attend, but the problem is crime, that side. And then, visibility, with the police and everything, man. I cannot say more, but it's all about crime, safety. At first it was fine, but now, nowadays, no, nothing safe that side. Nothing. Black or white, any color. Break into cars, they steal cars, these criminals, they have guns, everything. Your life is in danger there. So hence, maybe. So if they can try and fix it with the police and everything, that people are safe, but no, that place, it's not safe, my brother.
Hey, Robert Marawa, Sports on Reaction Monday. Just reacting to the voice note you played about Ellis Park. I went to go and enjoy the pool there once, and it was a horrific experience. I've never been back. There were people committing a little bit of GBV within the pool area. Made me very uncomfortable. We decided to leave in the parking lot. Pulled out an automatic weapon from his gun and was holding it above his car. We had to duck down behind our cars because we were terrified. It was an awful experience, and I've never been back to the general area. But I'd love to go and watch a game at Ellis Park. So I'd love to hear what further security is in place, what's making us safe there. I'd love to hear from Ellis Park that it's a good experience, and then maybe I'll go and try again.
Yeah, that's an awful experience. I'm sorry to hear that, and I'm sure there are a lot of other similar stories that have made people to not attend. So all I can say is that as the show's been going on, we've been in touch with the Lions, and like I say, that the aim is really to try and find answers, to try and improve the experience. I would love to see a packed Ellis Park. I would love the Lions and the talent that is in that team to get the support that they deserve. So hopefully, somebody like yourself who's seen like an automatic weapon being pulled out in front of you, that's traumatizing.
Evening, Rob. Gift here. And evening to your shareholders. Once again, another week of beautiful sporting stories. It's interesting to hear what our shareholders are saying about the state of Ellis Park and its surroundings. Very, very sad, Rob. To think that after we went through apartheid and were participating in sports again. Ellis Park Stadium was the first stadium that united South Africans after we won the 95 World Cup. And to see it, or actually the city around it, diminish is very, very sad. And of all the sporting codes I've ever loved and followed, rugby is the only one that I haven't seen live, Darob. So I personally would love to go to Ellis Park. And maybe, hopefully in the future, it will be safer and we can get to watch rugby peacefully as a nation. And enjoying the show as always, Rob. Thanks.
Hi, Robert. It's Haley from Boksburg. I attend a lot of rugby matches at the Ellis Park. We usually go in a group of 7 to 10 people. I won't say I feel unsafe. Yeah, it's a bit of a dodgy area, but we know the road so well. And they've opened the Joburg Stadium for parking. So you drive in, you park, you walk straight into the stadium and you walk out, and all along there's protection. So yes, on the big games when South Africa was all black and there's a lot of people, obviously there's pickpocketing going to happen, but so is there pickpocketing happening in restaurants. So you can't say it's just at Ellis Park. It happens at Loftus. It happens at any other stadium. There'll be pickpocketing. Phones are just generally stolen. So as long as JMPDs, they're always out in full force on the nights of the Springboks playing. I don't mind going any time of the day or night. I just go there, drive back, close doors, hide phones, and keep myself as safe as possible. And the group that we travel in, you travel in a group of 7 or 8. We have a little minibus and we go enjoy ourselves. Thank you for a great show.
Appreciate it, man. You know what it is, and getting all of this reaction coming through, and like I said, it's the lifeblood of what Ellis Park is to hear it firsthand from, people that have found solutions. You heard, travel in groups. If that is a solution and you've got a minibus that is there that's going to wait for you, I don't know, at the Shell garage just across, so you make an arrangement so that things happen, and rightfully so, theft and crime and everything else happens across the country because we really haven't won that war. And places where people come through and converge, and especially around sport, because they know that there's a captive audience that's sitting there up until a certain time. Like we used to say, going to watch a game at Loftus was a nightmare because if you're driving a certain brand of car, you come back and the headlights are taken off. And that almost became a thing. It probably still is. But how do we overcome that? Because we always say attend the games, and we want to attend the games in the same way that the people celebrating now, Live Golf next year, 100%. We're going to turn out in numbers. But how do we change that experience? And I really appreciate, and if you do have more of those voice notes, please send them through 060-708-0484. David in Parkwood, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa. I'm back to differ with Louis' views. My advice to Louis is to focus on his Sundowns coach who doesn't have got first 11.
Whew, they don't have a first 11?
No.
So isn't that you now focusing on Sundowns?
We should be focusing on Sundowns without first 11. And then stop our blaming other clubs when they score 6. His views are good for Facebook likes. Not for real radio. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared to call, but I think Louis must focus on his Sundowns coach who doesn't have got first 11.
Fair point. David, thank you very much indeed. Dino in Rudderport, good evening.
Hi, Robert. How are you doing?
Good, man. Interested to hear your comment about Live Golf and Ellis Park.
Oh, man. So let me start with Ellis Park. I'm very lucky that I work for a company that allows me to host clients at Loftus a lot. And I think the solution for Ellis Park specifically comes down to the city of Joburg. They need to get into a very great partnership alongside the union, because the union has done what they can to upgrade the facilities, make it more appealing aesthetically, as well as your movement in between. So if a partnership in that aspect can occur, then I do think that, more people will be a lot more comfortable. However, in the very same breath, the retention of talent within the Lion squad, it's heartbreaking to see that, you'll see a couple of youngsters start through and then they get these amazing contracts overseas and they're gone. I think it's great business for the union. However, retention of talent, like you can see with the Sharks Academy, makes a huge difference, along with that of Western Province Rugby at the same breath. So that's my comment on Ellis Park, that the city needs to get in great partnership to actually allow people to feel comfortable enough to attend the Lions games and support them.
I think the experience inside, like we've all agreed, is spectacular. Once you're inside, I think it's the experience in and around the stadium. I know that they've improved in terms of utilizing the trains, and those are being put into use more often right now. And it's beautiful to see because it almost takes us back to the good old Johannesburg days of the public transport, and that was working, and it was perfect. You're right. And if we talk about, policing, I think I've raised the issue before, just about it's easy to put roadblocks because, people have been at the stadium and they've been having a good time and they've been drinking, and you want them to, the breathalyzer thing to keep the safety going. That's a no-brainer. But what about dealing with the actual criminals that really hound these stadia?
And that's why I say it needs to be a partnership with the city alongside the union. The union has done the best that they can thus far. I think we should be grateful for that, because if you attend a Bok game, it's amazing. But also in the very same breath, now it's your actual union, and you need to be, it's something you get excited about going to. You don't want to be second guessing. Okay, now I need to put my cell phone in this pocket, my wallet in that other pocket, the other credit card probably in the back of my jockey, whatever. It's admin in itself.
Tell me about Live Golf.
Wow, what a fantastic experience. I think I got to watch it on TV. My son, who I introduced to golf about a good 4 or 5 years ago, was so captivated by the fact of how our representatives from the Southern Guards actually showed up. And it's so encouraging to see how everyone united as a nation. I think the best moment of all was the anthem just breaking out in absolute random, irrespective of what the result was at the time for the Southern Guards. But those 4 gentlemen we are superiorly grateful for, because 1, they put us on the map, but 2, the way they performed was absolutely incredible. It's such a game changer.
Sure. I know when that anthem took off, never mind the golfers, I couldn't believe it, because you don't rehearse those moments. Those are moments that just simply happen. And you talk about the atmosphere at Ellis Park. There are very few stadia around the world that give you that experience. And that is why we've got to make it a point that we give those Lions players that experience again, that the Springboks get when they're playing against the Aussies. I mean, I go back to John Ginnock, when he broke the record of the number of tries that were scored. He scored them at Ellis Park. And there are just so many different moments that we cannot ever, ever forget. Good to hear from you, man. Hope to hear more from you. Thanks so much.
For the time.
Appreciate it. All right. So Tato called early on. Tato, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm good. You were saying, and we were talking about rugby, saying you love rugby and you wish to go to the rugby, and your pay grade doesn't fit what the tickets cost. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So, what's the next game that you would like to go to?
Well, currently I haven't really checked what match is next.
Well, they play against the Dragons this coming weekend. That's a big game.
Oh, that is a big game. I would really love to be there, but then I would really like to be there with my family. So
how big is the family?
It's just 5 of us.
So all 5 of you, courtesy of a very, very generous individual that was listening to the show, will go and watch that game this weekend.
This weekend?
This weekend. What do you want to wait for? Next year?
No, I'm just shocked.
Please, don't be shocked. This is #MSW. We do the best we can, and the listeners and the caliber of the people that listen to the show make sure that they make things happen. So things have happened. All 5 of you will be going to attend the Lions versus the Dragons this weekend.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, don't be too shocked, eh? Well done.
Thank you, sir.
It pays to be honest. It really does pay. Because if somebody was laughing at the corner and say, this guy can't afford to go to rugby. There it is. I'm even scared to say who that kind person is that donated the tickets. You're going to have a wonderful experience. I can tell you that much. Guys, listen, tune in from 5:30 tomorrow. that's when MSW does start, because we got gazillions of voice notes that we couldn't put on air. And I know that everybody was responding to so many different things. But the important conversation that started from the top of the show around Ellis Park became so important, and it grew, and the lived experiences became so important for us that we couldn't really move away from that topic. But we owe you. It's your show on a Monday. It's Reaction Monday. This has been Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Let's go! The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.